It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, today I got Joe Odore with Panasonic, and I got to be honest with you, these Panasonic guys, man, they were lifesavers in my quest to get rid of those damn oversold A3 machines that people were buying just to do scanning. Why not just buy a Panasonic scanner? Joe, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, Ray?
I'm doing great, Joe. How's Fred doing?
Not too bad. We're all out there, selling our hearts out.
Well, this is crazy times that we're all living in, obviously, and I always say you got to create the new normal. So what's Panasonic doing to create that new normal for our reseller friends out there in the world today?
No, we're selling scanners to everybody we can. Since this pandemic started, we really made a push into our lower end personal segment and offered some, installation services, which have been pretty successful because, now that people are working from home, they no longer have access to their MFPs or their production scanners that they have in house. So a lot of those activities had to be transformed for in-house use. So we saw an uptick definitely in the smaller end segment. For people working from home. Obviously, the higher end segment dipped down because businesses were closed. But we spent a lot of time really pushing our lower end in the early part of it. And actually, we are also working on a absentee ballot solution as well for state and local government. So if anybody's following this pandemic knows that there's a lot more absentee ballot voting, instead of people going into voting. So a lot of interesting stuff that we've got cooking up on that front right now.
Very interesting indeed. Let me ask you a question. Are we seeing dealers out there, especially our friends in the imaging channel, are we seeing them rely less on overselling these big giant A3s because a customer scans more than they print and they thought, hey, it would be better to sell them these big giant MFPs to do the scanning? Are they switching those to desktop scanners?
I haven't seen a tremendous amount in terms of what dealers are doing. Obviously, there's a lot of changes in how dealers are going to market, mainly because now a lot of the larger businesses are closed that they would normally walk into and have conversations with. So we're definitely seeing a lot more activity on the lower end side for people working from home. I've seen a handful of dealers promoting even our small business bundle, which was really our work from home bundle, which was our low end scanner with some software and remote installation. That's definitely changed the way. It doesn't displace all that revenue that was happening in the A3 space, but it definitely has caused a lot of disruption. I think everybody working from home and not generating prints on those larger devices.
Do we see a lot of companies maybe sending some archived documents home with some of these workers now that they are at home and having them scan some of the old documents to get them into the image, get them into the systems?
Well, if the businesses are still operating and people are working from home, the paper process hasn't disappeared. What's changed is how the process was being done. So, the adoption of giving more remote people desktop scanners or small personal scanners has certainly increased in that area because they still have to push paper. The bigger challenges in all this is how people are, really looking at their processes today from a standpoint of, hey, what do I do if this pandemic, happens again in the future? What if something happens 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, right? And they still have filing cabinets full of paper. Well, you can't be in the office, pulling paper out of filing cabinets. So, digital transformation has definitely been a big thing that I've seen personally in the market happening where, people are now starting to understand, okay, we need to really make these documents digital. And we can't rely on manual paper processes anymore to run our business, especially if there's some critical data or information that needs to be pulled at any time. So, even for dealerships, if you're still managing your own contracts and your customers and all that paperwork manually, you're going to face some challenges if you need to pull information remotely, especially if the office is closed, right? You got to make sure there's, even if you're going in the office, you're sanitizing and following specific protocols. So, very inefficient. Whereas if your documents are scanned, put in the cloud, everything's accessible to anybody, regardless of where they sit.
Well, hopefully our friends are, getting some digitation going on. They're out there selling all these services. Hopefully they're eating their own dog food. I did a video on that. Panasonic, obviously, and Panasonic equipment is a great way to get stuff to the cloud, as I say. Well, Joe, I got to be honest with you. You know, it's been a tough time for a lot of our dealer friends, and they're looking for additional products to add on to their portfolios. Scanning is a great option. You know, it's obviously with the digitization of the SMB space, they're going to need to scan some of this stuff into the system. So let me ask you a question. I know you use the imaging channel for your distribution, but IT service providers as well, if they reach out to Panasonic, you or Joe, you or Fred, they could sign up and be a Panasonic dealer. I mean, what do you got to do that?
Absolutely. Just reach out to us and we'll have a conversation on what you currently have and how we fit in that role. Beyond just hardware, we also sell document management and enterprise content management through third-party providers as well.
Okay.
And we've got some pretty robust products that we offer from our partners, including even cloud-based solutions where there's no on-premise hardware. Of course, I'm sorry, on-premise software. So, I mean, if you're looking for small business or larger enterprise, we have scalable solutions that'll meet that need. The nice thing about the cloud-based stuff is you can fit it based on a subscription basis annually. You can give access to the people who really need the access, create workflows remotely. And basically, as long as you can operate a mouse and a web browser, you're pretty much able to do document management in the cloud in that aspect.
Well, man, that's sweet. I think you should hear from some fellows out there and gals. There's a lot of.
We're welcome to talk to anybody. We love IT guys. We do fit well in that space. Scanners are really just what we call an ingestion module to any operation in terms of what digital transformation or anything of that nature. So I mean, we provide great hardware, but really what we're looking at is delivering solutions that meet customer needs. At the same time, we also offer our compression software, which is great for existing customers looking to save money and reduce file space. So if people do have scanned documents from years ago that are image based, we do have software that'll convert them into text searchable documents, compress the file sizes by up to 90%, which can reduce storage costs both on premise or in the cloud. So that's another area that we operate in terms of just scanning documents and storing them and managing them. And this software that we offer also works for any kind of product. So if you're an MFP reseller, imaging channel reseller, if you've got documents, regardless of how they're brought in, we can compress them and reduce your storage capacity.
Which is pretty important these days. There's more stuff we put in the cloud.
Most people say, well, storage is pretty cheap. Well, yeah, it is. But, talk about what it takes to turn down let's say a server and replace the hard drive and start rebuilding everything so you have more space. So you're not looking at just the cost of the hardware. You're looking at the cost of your business going down for some period of time so you can actually transform those existing documents. The nice thing about our solution is it's very low key, it's powerful, it runs in the background, but it will convert your existing documents into text searchable, retain folder formats, so you're not manually copying and pasting files from one location to the next.
Well, it sounds pretty interesting. Joe, I wish you luck, and I know hopefully we'll all get back to some kind of normalcy pretty soon, but we still have to create that normalcy if we want to be ahead of the game. And I
think normal's been redefined.
Yeah, pretty much.
This pandemic has definitely changed the way how business is getting done and will be done going forward.
Yep. Well, Panasonic's a big part of that story, the big part of my story, and trying to replace these oversold A3s, that's for sure. Joe, is there anything you want to add before we end?
No, thank you for having me on, Ray. It's been a pleasure. Any imaging reseller, IT reseller, manager, whatever, if you've got questions, if you're looking for additional solutions, if you need to start looking at how to diversify your portfolio, because I do believe that the printer market or the A3 market has definitely changed, especially now that more people are working from home. So, I'm a veteran in the copier space, and scanners I fell into shortly after copiers in my career. So I have different perspectives and views on how that looks. And I'm always open to a conversation to show customers and resellers how scanners will benefit them from very different angles, both from a profit perspective and a customer experience perspective. So reach out to me, reach out to Fred, reach out to anybody on our team. We'll be more than happy to assist and help you and your customers do better business.
Sweet. And I'll tag you and Fred in the post itself. Joe, it's been great talking to you. I look forward to having you on again. My friends, remember this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.